All right, everyone, we are back. Yeah, I know, right? I'm back so soon. I didn't go 2 weeks without uploading again. Can you believe that? I know, it's crazy, right? So, welcome back to Potted Plant Entertainment. My name is Chris, and in case you don't know, I review movies and I rank them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. I say it every time. At some point, you should probably learn this so that I can stop saying it. But I'm not going to stop saying it because I kind of have to because I have a rating system that I have to explain. But you know what? I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it because everybody else does rate stuff on a scale of 1 to 10. So I'm not going to do that. Anyways, so we got 3 movies here today. So I posted in the community chat yesterday that is something that this is something I'm going to be doing more often because it's hard for me. It's harder. I was hoping it would get better, but it didn't. It's harder for me to find the time to upload. So what I'm going to do is just see as many movies as I can and try and knock them out a few at a time in one video. That way I at least talk about the movie and I don't just see it and then have to skip it entirely. I think I'd much rather do these combined videos rather than see the movie and then not get to talk about it at all, because I want to talk about every movie that I see. So today we're going to be doing The Pale Blue Eye, M3GAN, and we're going to be doing Cocaine Bear. Yesterday I saw Creed 3 and I saw Shazam 2. That review should be coming probably next week. But for now we're going to go ahead and we're going to knock these out. So let's start with The Pale Blue Eye. This movie came out on Netflix in January, and it stars Christian Bale, Harry Melling, and Toby Jones, and it was directed by Scott Cooper. Now, Scott Cooper and Christian Bale are not strangers to each other. They've worked with each other a couple of times. Hostiles, in particular, is one that I really like. And I believe that this is their 3rd collaboration. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But let's just delve right into it. So, my pros and cons with The Pale Blue Eye. Oh, wait, I gotta give the plot first. So, this movie, Christian Bale plays a detective in, like, what was this, the 1800s? Something like that. I forget already. Sorry, I watched this movie like 2 months ago. Anyway, and he's tasked with solving a murder of a student at a military school. And while he's there, he meets Edgar Allan Poe, who is a student at this military school. He sees the potential in him, and they team up together to try and solve the sadistic, nasty murder. And that's one of the things I really loved about this movie. It is sadistic and it is nasty. There is some bloody and shocking stuff in this movie. This movie does not hold back. It's got the pentagrams and blood and gut. It's got all of it. It doesn't hold back. This movie is gruesome, and I like that very much. The cinematography was beautiful. The characters were very interesting, and their dialogue is really interesting, and so their conversations were really enjoyable to listen to. It's creepy at times. This movie does a really good job using fog to make things more creepy and all that stuff. The ending of the movie has a good twist to it, and it drops hints that add up. And so it all kind of makes sense by the end of it. Really good stuff. Let's get into my cons. The pacing is pretty jarring, especially at first. The pacing is really, really jarring in this movie. Like, I don't know if it's just because of the way they edited together or if it's a script, but the pacing in this movie is like all over the place, and sometimes it's pretty slow. But overall, I did enjoy the movie, and I'm going to give it a 75 out of 100. Not as good as I wanted it to be. When I saw the trailer for this movie, I was really, really excited, especially because I mostly just get excited to see Christian Bale and stuff, but it was still good. I was a bit let down. I'm not going to lie. I like this movie. It is some really, really good stuff, but I just feel like the writing needed a second opinion. This script definitely needed some work. But it is what it is. All right, now moving on to M3GAN, or M3GAN. M3GAN stars Allison Williams, Violet McGraw, Amy Donald, and Ronnie Cheng, and it was directed by Gerard Johnstone. And this movie tells the story of a lady who takes in her niece after her sister and her brother-in-law both died in a car accident, and she works at a toy company. And to try and cheer up her niece, she creates this AI robot that she names M3GAN, and eventually it becomes a little bit too self-aware, and it goes on a killing Chucky rampage. So yes, this movie, and I think they knew even when writing this was going to draw a lot of comparisons to Child's Play. Would I'd rather watch M3GAN or Child's Play? Child's Play all day. I love Child's Play. I think it's a very underrated slasher film. I love that movie to death. M3GAN is good, but it's definitely not one I'm going to be revisiting every Halloween like I do with Child's Play. Let's go ahead and get into the pros and cons. So, for one thing, this movie did come out in January, and it is a very, very big surprise for January. You know, January is really just the dumpster where Hollywood dumps its trash. But every now and then, we get a good one, like Bad Boys for Life that came out in January of 2020. That was a surprisingly really good movie that came out in January. And this was a surprise for January. Every now and then, we'll get a gem somewhere in there in January. And I guess the studio didn't believe in this movie because they dumped it in January. But really, they probably should have waited or released it sooner because it's a good movie. And I had a good time with it. Amy Donald is fantastic as M3GAN. I'm sure they did the same thing like what they did with RoboCop, where they brought in a mime to teach Peter Weller how to move like a robot. I'm sure they did the same thing with this. She clearly worked very hard in order to act like a robot, and she does a fantastic job. I really do. Watching her, I believe that is an AI robot. She does an amazing job. The special effects are great. It's got some really good satire in it as well. It's got some really good dark humor. It's got some good social commentary about modern technology and all that. And the writing is pretty solid for the most part. The kills are good. I had a good time with it. It's a PG-13 movie. So there's only so much you're going to get from that. But for a PG-13 movie, I feel like they pushed it about as far as they could. Let's get into the cons. So Allison Williams' character, she has no emotion over the death of her sister and her brother-in-law. None whatsoever. It just seems like she doesn't give a crap. And at some point, the social worker even asks her, how close were you to her sister? And she dodges the question. And then this never gets explained. She clearly had some kind of a distant relationship with her sister, but the movie never goes into why. They make this very evident, but then don't do anything with it. And that was definitely a big miss in the writing. And also, it's just kind of a one-watch movie. I mean, if they make a sequel to this, obviously, I'll go see it. But I'd rather watch Child's Play, man. I mean, really, Child's Play all day. This was fun and entertaining, but I don't really feel the need to go back to this. So I'm going to give M3GAN a 70. And last but certainly not least, we have Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear was a movie that I was really looking forward to. And I got to say, I'm pleased. I know a lot of people are pretty let down by this one. I don't know if it's just because I went into it with lower expectations than everyone else, but I had a really good time with it. So that's just my personal opinion. If you didn't like Cocaine Bear, hey, cool, that's you, man. But maybe we were just looking for something different, and I had a good time with it. Let's talk about why. So, Cocaine Bear stars Kerry Russell, Alden Ehrenreich, Han Solo, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube's son, Ray Liotta, Margot Martindale, and Isaiah Whitlock Jr., and it was directed by Elizabeth Banks. And this movie is based on a true story. It's not. You know what else isn't based on a true story? Tag. They say that, but it's not. It's about a bear sometime back in the 80s that ingested some cocaine that was dropped in a forest by a drug dealer from a plane. So his henchmen could go out there and get the cocaine, but this bear comes across it and eats it. and goes on a killing rampage. And the true story is that this bear ate this cocaine back in the 1980s. It was wandering out in the woods and it found cocaine, and it didn't kill anyone. I don't know if in real life it attacked anyone. I'd have to look into the true story. But nobody died, and eventually I think it overdosed, and so that's that. But in this one, it goes on a killing rampage, so that's pretty fun. So let's get into my pros and cons. So for one thing, this movie is very funny. I had the jokes, for me, a lot of them landed, and I was very entertained by it. The kills are really fun. Really, there's some gruesome stuff here. They didn't push it as much as they could have, and probably should have, but they did enough for me. It blends humor and suspense really well. There are great suspense sequences with this bear, where people are trying to get away from the bear, or people are trapped because of the bear, and they do a good job blending the suspense and the humor together for those sequences. The cast does a great job. It really does seem like everybody in this movie wants to be here. This doesn't really seem like just a paycheck for anyone. Like you can tell like they're having a good time. Like they know what this is, they know what they're in, and they're having a great time being there for it. And the movie doesn't take itself too seriously, which is good because it easily could have, but it doesn't. This movie knows exactly what it is, and I love that. And the CGI bear doesn't look fake. Now, can I tell it's CGI? Yes. Like, if you CGI an animal in any movie, you can always tell it's CGI. Even with Beast last year, yes, the CGI on the lion looked really good, but you can tell it's not a real lion. Same for the bear. It doesn't matter how good of a job you do with CGI on animals, you can always tell that they're CGI. And this is no different. It is very obvious, as great as the bear looks, it is not a real bear. But still, like Beast, it does look really good. And they're maybe, from what I noticed at least, I didn't notice any shots in this movie where I was like, that looks totally fake. That shot doesn't look as good as this one. Like, I feel like the attention to detail for the bear was there, and it should be, because like that's basically what holds up this movie. So let's get into my cons. For one thing, there's too many characters. This movie has a lot of subplots. You follow this group doing this group doing this group doing this, and there's too many characters and too many factors at play here. The movie probably would have benefited if there were less characters and less subplots, I feel like. I like the characters. They're endearing. They're funny. They're amusing to watch. They're all entertaining. But we didn't need as many subplots as we got. Also, without spoiling it, there is a sequence where the bear survives gunshot wounds. I don't know how much of a spoiler it is to say that the bear gets shot, but there's a scene where the bear gets shot and it just doesn't really seem to affect it. Very similar to Scream 6, when people get stabbed in the gut, or you get a knife to the mouth and then the knife is twisted and then you just get up and run at people. Sorry if I spoiled Scream 6 for you, but that happens in the movie, and that's really, really dumb. It reminds me of that. And I feel like there should have been more on-screen kills. The kills are there, but I feel, like I said before, this movie could have pushed it a little bit more. But overall, I had a good time with this movie, and I'm going to give it an 80 out of 100. All right. And that's it. So, Creed 3 and Shazam, Fury of the Gods, coming very soon. Hopefully next week. But just stay updated. If you follow me on Instagram, it's a lot easier to stay updated on me. Follow me on Instagram. You can even shoot me a DM and be like, Crit. What up, Krill? As Dashy would say, Krill? When's the next review? And I'll be like, I don't know, bro. But it's coming. That'll probably be my answer. But still, you can ask if you want. Won't bother me. All right, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Potty Plantain for more. Hit the like button. Leave me review suggestions. No, I said I'm not going to say that because nobody ever freaking does that anymore. Oh, also, I 1000% still plan to review this. So, just saying. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Potted Player Entertainment for more. Hit the like button. Follow me on Instagram at Potted Player Entertainment. Please follow me on Instagram. It means a lot to your boy. When you follow me on Instagram, my heart does this little thing where it starts to dance like this. I don't really have much here that I can move. I'm a pretty skinny guy. But it does this little dance, right? And then I start feeling good. And then I start to move like this. See? And then I sing a little song. It's called, I don't know. I'm going to go. I'm dragging this out for way too long. All right, bye.